Hi everyone, we're here with the VSuccess. We're here with Phoenix Wa, a science student. I'm Mario Michas from Lion Society. Maya.
Hi everyone, my name is Maia Fukuyama. I'm in my fourth semester at Vanier College in the psychology program.
All right, so Phoenix, can you please present yourself?
Hi, I'm Phoenix Roy. I am currently employed in the field of engineering at MDA, working at the Canadian Space Agency, and I graduated Vanier as valedictorian for the Peer and Applied Honors Program, and I then studied mechanical engineering at Mcgill.
That's a really impressive background.
Thank you.
And what would you say are your most memorable moments at Vanier?
Definitely being part of the robotics club. For my 2 years at Vanier, I was part of the club and we competed in the inter-school competition with both high schools and CJEPs. And we actually had the huge pleasure and honor of winning competition my second year. Making friends, learning a bunch, being part of the day-to-day science program life, definitely cannot look back and not smile fondly, thinking at not only what I learned, but how it set me up for later on in university and my career.
That's really lovely. And yeah, if anyone is interested in joining the robotics team at Vanier, we have an amazing robotics team in the science department. You don't necessarily need to be in the science program, and we heavily encourage you to check it out on the Vanier website.
Okay, so you spoke of several interests and sort of working for the MDA, studying engineering. Do you have any interests outside of the academic world?
Definitely. I'm a little grandma and I enjoy knitting and crocheting and sewing and all of that fun stuff. So definitely not just all technical. And I do have to mention about the robotics club is it's not the only science project or team out there. And it's not the only one that also caters to people from different projects, because after all, we live in an interdisciplinary world. You can't get along with just math and physics. You need a bit of everything. So, I mean, this project for sure wouldn't like be fine without you both being in different programs. Definitely it must help. So definitely an example there. Doesn't matter what you like. Gotta help out everyone everywhere.
Okay, thank you for that.
And where does your interest for sciences and specifically engineering stem from?
My father was an engineer, so obviously there's influence there. My uncle as well, most of the people in my family actually. So that helps. But engineering is the applied branch of science, and science is just the way things work in the world. So if you kind of have a little bit of curiosity and are interested in doing some hands-on work, engineering is definitely an easy path to go on. So I think that's probably where that stems, just wanting to know why things work the way they work and how to fix my broken toys.
That's nice. And yes, we've had a lot of science students on this program, and all of them also mention an innate curiosity from a young age to learn about new things and discover more of how the world works.
Cannot disagree.
What are the principles of engineering and generally of science that you think could help you in or could help someone in their daily life?
Every day wanting to like problem solve, being curious, a desire to just learn in general, and also a decent dose of humility, maybe forgotten in some people, but you need to learn that you know nothing. In a way, you the only way you can know things and say yourself knowledgeable is to know what you don't know, to know where your abilities and mastery stop. Because if you do not know that, you can push further. And I think it's applicable to every sphere of life. So as long as you rein in that ego and decide that you still want to figure things out, it's applicable everywhere.
And Socrates said, I know one thing that I know nothing. So even philosophy backs up what you just said. Thank you for that.
So, as you mentioned, you were once part of the robotics team at Vanier, and you were also part of the rocket team at Mcgill. How have you found your involvement in extracurricular activities to benefit you?
I wouldn't be working at the job I have now, which I think is awesome, without extracurriculars. I know at Mcgill, we call them like design teams, the kind of like robotics teams, but there's different types. Some for like there's rocket team, but there's other robotics and different teams. I mean, they keep adding up every year, so I don't even know them all. And same at Vanier. When you learn, especially in science in school, you see the theory, you don't really apply it. I mean, you have some labs and everything, but you can't apply if you don't learn it. And we only have so many hours in class. So definitely, I know at every open house, any student that comes to visit at Mcgill gets told, join a design team if you're going to be in engineering, because that's the only way you're going to be able to prove that you know what you're doing and tell yourself you know what you're doing. And also it helps you foster in like interpersonal skills. You have to balance more responsibilities. You're the one planning your own time, your own work, what you're doing, have to work with others. And student run activities in general teach you are the beginnings of what you're going to be doing in the workforce later, because that's all like coworker run, colleague run, and we're all humans, like we're all peers together. So definitely, if you're going in science, join something. You'll learn so much more than you think you will.
I think that's great advice, and I think it's applicable to all programs, no matter where you are, really. If you are interested in joining a club, it allows you to apply yourself in different areas. And as you said, it does help to foster interpersonal relationships and really teach yourself how to be more of a leader and more of a worker with other people.
And do you have any advice specifically for Vanier students wishing to study in the STEM fields?
I'd say join something. It doesn't have to be at your school, but join something. Be a volunteer in your community, start a new project like you guys did, just anything, because at the end of the day, if you want a job, experience is worth more than grades. And it might be a bit controversial to say, I don't know, or maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it's better to be an average student that has done things than to be an excellent student grade-wise that has nothing to show for it. So this can mean projects from classes, but go further than you would. Go further than the average student in that case and have something to show for it. So it can be all like academic driven, but make sure you have something to show for it, because that's what the employer is looking about. No one cares if you got 100 on your math test. You want to know if you can do math in a real day-to-day problem.
I think that practical advice would be very helpful for Vanier students. Thank you.
And you are currently employed by MDA, but working at the Canadian Space Agency. Would you be able to elaborate on what your career entails?
Sure. I'm part of a team called ESL, which stands for Engineering Support Lead, and we do on-console support for on-orbit operations for the Canadian robotic systems on the International Space Station. So I'll do a little like brief intro in case people aren't aware of that part, but on the International Space Station, which orbits the Earth, which is an international partnership with NASA from the United States, as well as JAXA, the Japanese aerospace program, as well as ESA and Roscosmos, which are the European and Russian space agencies. Canada, with the CSA, the Canadian Space Agency, has contributed robots that work on the outside of the station and that initially helped assemble the station and now help with during crew operations, astronaut operations, and with catching the visiting vehicles that come to the station. And every time, so we built, my company MDA built a robotic arm, which is stationed on a moving platform, but which can also detach from the platform and crawl across the station, kind of like a big worm. And every time it has to move or we have to use its cameras or it does any support on the station at all, our team has to be there to answer any questions or concerns that could arise from NASA or the crew members that are using the arm at that time. So it's really cool stuff. Maybe that was a lot of explanations, but space is cool. And I'm so thrilled to be able to work in aerospace domain. Also, teamwork is awesome and my team is the best.
No, that's absolutely amazing. It's incredibly interesting to hear about. And it's amazing that you are able to work in such a dynamic environment that's actually contributing in such an amazing way.
You're a very motivated and very inspired person. Could you sort of say what inspires you the most in your career?
As I said at the end, teamwork is, I'm a people person, so teamwork and being able to contribute yourself into bettering, hopefully, your domain or however you want to say it. Anyways, space, people kind of see it as the next frontier, final frontier. So being able to contribute there a little bit and be able to do it with a lot of people who are also passionate and driven, and that, okay, let's put it this way. Space is one of those things that brings nothing to us other than scientific advancement right now. It's a hole, a black hole for money, for a lot of different things. But what it brings us is scientific advancement. A lot of discoveries that are made in zero gravity or by advancing the technology to be able to work in difficult environments, such as, space, has brought a lot of advances to the rest of us living on Earth. And I think that being able to be part of that in some small way and with other people that care about it, because it is passion driven at the end of the day, it's great. And being able to go to work every day and feel thrilled about it is more important than anything else.
Thank you for that. I think it's really nice to see that you're so motivated in sort of this scientific advancement and sort of tying how space can help humans here on Earth by advancing the scientific field. So thank you for that.
If I may, actually the Canadarm, which is the robotic arm that Canada built for the space station, actually the technology developed for it has been used since by also MD and other companies to develop arms that aid in surgery, such as brain surgery, like biopsies and so forth. So that's just a small example. I know it's also being used for servicing nuclear plants as well, so diminishing the risk to humans there as well. So that's just a small example to support what you're saying.
Thank you for that.
And do you have any parting academic, professional, or life advice that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Don't give up. Even if you think the days are long and that it's never ending, that it doesn't matter if you don't give in that assignment or you don't pass that test or so forth. Do it, because once you're done, that's all you have to show for yourself. So get involved, go to your classes, just pass through, because it's only a couple of years before you reach your final step where you're tied down by different chains. So try to make the most of those years and balance well, because yes, studying and grades are important, but if you go nuts trying to do so, you won't be able to enjoy it. You won't be able to take full advantage of the opportunities that are given. So, and sometimes it is better to delay by a semester to take time for yourself, because at the end of the day, the turtle won, the hare lost. So take your time and do it well.
Yes, thank you for that amazing piece of advice. It's very important for everyone to remember not to compare themselves necessarily to others, but only to themselves moving forward in order to really reach their full potential.
All right, so we've come to the end of the interview. I hope viewers, you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Phoenix, for participating. Thank you, Maya. We'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day.
Thank you.